This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Welcome to this episode of the KJ Arcade. My name is Kevin and I'm the K.
Hello. I am Jay. The Gray.
Okay. I was like, he's delaying. Is he going to do the Gray?
I really want a staff so I can actually just go dump.
Well, we were just talking about wands you can find outside. You can probably find a staff outside too.
That sounds heavy.
That's what she said.
And something I need a lathe for to churn.
That's also what she said. Well, this episode, it's my turn, and I'm talking about a game. It's pretty recent. They're actually about to come out with the second one called Breathedge.
Oh, Breathedge.
Have you seen this one?
I've seen it in your library, but I have not played it.
Okay, so Breathedge, basically the story is you were on a spaceship, and spaceship got blowed up. And you don't know why, and somehow you survived, and so your whole goal is to basically live, like get the fuck out of there and get back to civilization. And so, like the whole area, it's a survival game. Like you're trying to survive, like making sure you have oxygen and food and water. But like it's not like one of those games where like you got to plant stuff and grow your food and then like. On and on and on. It's like these are temporary circumstances. Like you're not making.
I don't know. I feel like you've had a theme. This is 2 weeks in a row. Space survival.
Yeah. But this one isn't a 2D like thing. It's a first person. Dupes. And it is funny as shit.
Oh, this is funny too.
Oh my god, no! It is. It isn't like. Oxygen Not Included has like a little bit of humor, and this one is like the only voice you hear is occasionally some other you'll occasionally hear like someone through the intercoms or whatever, but 90% of it is your suit because your main character doesn't talk, but his suit is like an AI program, and it is the funniest shit. And they're like, your character goes around with this chicken that's been in his family for generations. It's an immortal chicken. Don't ask questions. Don't ask. You can't ask questions.
No. You can't tell me not to ask about an immortal chicken. I mean, what?
like there are parts in it where like
it has been passed down through the generations. At this point, the chicken should be jerky.
No, the chicken is immortal. Like
that doesn't make sense.
Like you're going out in space, and when you see like electricity is going off, you have to get rid of the electricity. So he has the chicken like duct taped to a stick, and he's like, and he touches the electricity, he's like, psst, and then comes back. And then like when you go to vending machines and he wants to get something, he takes the chicken and shoves it in, and then like soda cans pop out its butt. It's so funny, and like literally everyone else in the space station has died, and like in space everything like immediately freezes. Yeah. So you see all these people who have died in these insane situations, and then your suit makes like some stupid comment on it, but it's like somebody gets his head smashed in from a thing, and so he's completely frozen like this, blood frozen, splatted out, and like and like the suit comments on it. And it's just like the whole thing is there are 3 parts I want to tell you about. And if you don't want this to be spoiled, then don't
maybe skip ahead.
Yeah, skip ahead. But the first one that's one of the funniest parts in this whole game is he's trying to open a door, and so he gets a saw. Because it's mainly a crafting game. Like you're going out and you're grabbing materials, coming back so you can build stuff to get to the next point. And he builds like a saw, and it's to cut the hinges. And he cuts the hinges on the door, and then the wall instead of the door falls down and the door is standing upright. And he's like, well, I guess that's one way to do it. Like,
that's very Looney Tunes. Yeah, very Looney Tunes.
There's also that is quite Looney Tunes. And then there's another one. Like the first goal is get to a engineering bay, and you're like scanning blueprints for steering wheels because you know it needs a new steering wheel, right?
Okay.
And so you go through, you find all the parts, you're able to build a steering wheel, and then you finally get to the point, and it's like, it's got like a force shield in the back that holds in the oxygen, and then it's a rectangle thing, and at the very end is the steering column. So you finally get there, you turn on the power, and he's holding the steering wheel like this, and he's like, finally, let's get out of here. Beep, 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 boop. And he's holding the steering wheel, and the rest of the ship flies on. And he's sitting there with the steering wheel.
Again.
And it flies off, and there's like, well.
Yeah. And it was probably done, again, just like a Looney Tunes style by Warner Brothers. Just having entirely too much fun.
There's also, so your whole point is like there's radiation coming from the core. It's like this big glowing thing that came from the center of the, it was basically like the nuclear core for the spaceship. And it's emitting radiation. And he's like, okay, well, in order to get closer to it, where all the stuff that you could probably escape with, you're going to have to like improve your suit. And he goes, so you need to go to this place. There was a giant paint canister that exploded. So there's like frozen paint exploded everywhere. And you have to go in there and gather pieces of paint and then come back and mix it with lead and make lead paint. And so he makes lead paint. And he's like, okay, just combine it with your mask and it'll give you more lead proofing.
No.
He literally paints the front of the glass, and like you do all this work to get this helmet that they make it out like you need this to keep going, and you put it on and you can't see anything. And he's like, "Well, your lead proofing is better, but I don't think this is gonna work."
Yeah, you just need just enough lead in the glass.
God. And then, all right, and the last part, the funny shit. You get to this point where there's a bunch of trees. There's this big area that's made to be like an indoor park of sorts, but it's in space. So they're growing trees. And as I'm walking past the tree, I notice it says something like touch the tree. And I was like,
what if I don't want to touch the tree?
Okay. And so I click it, and it isn't like he just goes like, boop. No, he like touches his hand on it, goes, and he slowly runs his hand down it. You hear like this, like, ah. And I was like, oh. And I look around, I'm like, there are 15 trees here. I'm going to touch every single one. And I start going and touching it. And like after the second one, he's like, your suit goes like, why are you touching all of the trees? And then you go to the next one, he's just like, what are you doing? You're really weird. What are you doing? And he just goes to the next one, he's like, and then like after like 7, he's like, do you want an achievement or something? Is that what you're going for? And then like you get the next one and it goes, ding, you get an achievement. He's like, there, are you happy? Stop touching the trees. And I kept touching, I touched every single one. And he's like, oh, good for you. You're touching all the fucking trees. Like, what's the point? And he's like, you already got the fucking achievement. And then like when you touch them all, you do get an achievement. It's like, I'll do what I want.
Yes, against all odds, I do what I want.
Like you can't tell me what to do, but like the game is super fun. Like the gameplay is really fun. It's probably like an 8 to 10 hour game. It's not very long, but it's mostly like a going out surviving because like all the resources are limited. Like there's nothing that regrows. It's everything that's out there. That's what you get, and you have like. There are areas that you can go that have unlimited oxygen.
Right.
Because mostly if you're going to die in that game, it's not going to be from getting shot or anything like that. Like there are hardly any bad guys. It's going to be from dying of oxygen deprivation. That's how you're going to die.
But there's a park with trees.
Yeah, there are some parts where you're just doing a whole bunch of exploring.
With trees.
There are trees. Yeah, that's the one area with grass and trees in the entire fucking game.
Mm. TikTok went away, and they were like, touch grass. Okay, I'll go play this game and touch not real grass. Cheap and unlocked? Yes, I did. I touched the grass. And trees.
Oh, yeah.
All the trees.
But the game is fun. Is so funny. Like, there are so many times in that game where I was laughing out loud. And they got a second one coming out that looks like it's going to be open world. Like, it's going to be on a planet, I think.
Well, at least a planet kind of makes it a bigger field for you to mess around with, and hopefully it has atmosphere.
Yeah, it looks like it has atmosphere. But, I mean, I don't know. It's I'm not sure what they're going to do with it, but, like, the game is funny as shit. It's so good. I just... You collect shit. Like, you go and... every time you get close to areas, he'll be you hear your little your life support thing, like, oh, this guy looks like he died from blah 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 blah, and or like, because like you'll find people who the thing exploded when they were in the middle of doing something. So there's like a guy with like a acoustic guitar like about to play.
Oh no!
And he's frozen in the air, and he's like this guy got a playing an acoustic guitar plugged into an amp. What a fucking loser.
I mean, let's be real. You had the chance to get an electric one. You went acoustic. I mean, how much heartfelt crap were you really doing with an amp, sir? It's acoustic. Mm-hmm. It resounds by itself. Mm-hmm. Douche nozzle.
But like the game just makes fun of everything. Like, there's nothing that's just flat out space rocket ship. Like, this is a plain old rocket ship. No, everything is fucked up in some way. Like, the first objective they give you is to make something. It's called make the thing the developers force you to do. And it was like collect this and this. And at the time, it was a difficult thing to get because you got to find all the items. And basically, you end up making it. It just looks like a giant dick made out of stones and metal and duct tape.
The age-old monolith. Caulk.
And he's like, well, there's really nothing you can do with this. Just throw it on the ground somewhere. You're like, ka-chunk, chunk, chunk.
Yeah, we'll just sweep that under the rug, proverbially.
But it's definitely a game worth playing. Like, you'll get it's so funny. It's so good, and like the gameplay is solid as well as the consistent humor the entire time is so fun. I really liked it.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna play Breathedge 2. Apparently, it's on every system too. I didn't know that. It's on like on like PlayStation, Switch. Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox. All the newer stuff, and it's on Steam because that's where I played it. But fucking hysterical. Get that game. Get it.
Get that, and most of the, and if you can find any of the games that we've talked about so far, since this is episode 7.
7,
because as of this recording, episode 6 just came out last week. Yes.
But are there any other questions I can answer for you, Jay, about this game?
Do you know any of the voice? Well, do you know the voice of the suit?
No, I do not. I didn't look up any of that shit because I was just like, I know I can talk about all the funny shit that is on it.
Fair enough.
Like all the time. It's fucking great. I love it. It's so funny. I like the games that even if they're a short story, if the gameplay is fun and the art is really good, because like I really like the way that they built the area where like there's liquid that is frozen in the air and so it's got this really cool look to it where it's shiny and you can see everything at a distance. Like there isn't a rendering thing coming out farther in. It's like you can see everything all the time.
Oh,
at a faraway distance, you can see the details. Okay. And then they do a really good job.
All right.
Sorry, I don't know any peoples.
Well, I mean, I'm like, if it's talking that much shit, I'm like, it's got to be someone like maybe Nolan North or hell, They could have got Jack Black to be a freaking voice of the suit.
What
are you doing?
I'll be damned. I would know that.
I mean,
I would know that, sir. Skibby dabba 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 dabba.
Fair enough.
No one can destroy the metal.
That's correct.
The metal will strike you down with a vicious blow.
Because it exists always.
Always. Nope, I can't find it.
Unfortunate.
Anyways, so Jay, where can they find us?
As always, you can find us at the kjandapodcast@gmail.com. Also, give us a call or text us at 858-848-5562. That's KJNA. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok since it came back. That's right, it came back.
Yeah, it was out for less than 24 hours.
Correct. YouTube, Patreon, where you can find 6 hours of bonus content. And if you join us now, guess what? We will keep adding more content. We'll get back to actually doing content on Patreon if you join on to our Patreon. Also, finally, if you want to donate it to a podcast in need, please go to buymeacopy.com/KJNA podcast and leave a donation.
The actor's name is Zathian.
Wow, he has one.
Zathian, and he's not very famous, but he's done some video game shit, but he's funny as hell. He should be more famous.
Should be there.
Anyways.
Also, don't forget, we're on Twitch. You can find Kevin under our actual podcast name, KJNA Podcast, on Twitch. You can also find me specifically at JAYWHATDO.
Jay, what do?
That's right. Find me on Twitch. Sometimes I play Marvel Rivals. It happens.
Yeah. We did it today. It was fun.
It was. I think I really like the Punisher. I really do.
I like Invisible Woman. She's fun.
Yeah, our combination is perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, it is good. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Good night, folks.
Bye.